Hi, I'm Pao.
Hey, I'm Elisa.
I'm Vanessa.
I'm Maldrick.
I'm Kai.
I'm Nadine.
My name is Pat.
Hi, I'm Liam.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rika Cruz. I'm a sex and relationships therapist, and I'm also the CEO and founder of Unprude.
It can be both, depends on who's interested first.
Girls.
Any. Objectively, anyone. Personally, ako naman yung suyuin nyo.
If you're interested, just make the first move.
I started dating fresh out of college. I have experience making too many first moves that maxed out my chances at that.
So I come from a very conservative Christian background. We were brainwashed into believing that you wait to date and you date to marry. So I never started dating until I was 28. It was kind of a relief, to be honest, because I was already quite emotionally mature at the time. But at the same time, because it took me so long to date, I felt like I had to fit all of the experiences I missed in those few years.
Started dating when I entered college. My experience hasn't been very good. I wanted someone powerful, strong, so I ended up usually with men who have kind of bad attitude. That also caused a lot of conflict in my relationships.
Depends still.
On the app, it's the males usually who make the first move.
Usually, the guy makes the first move, but I don't see why not. The girl can't make the first move, right?
I feel like it's usually the guy who makes the first move. I guess a narrative that society has continuously fed into, in stories, kind of growing up also, it was always Prince Charming who kind of chased after the Disney princess or something. Because of that, it was always kind of embedded in us that, no, as a woman, I shouldn't be making the first move and I should kind of just wait for the guy to waltz in and sweep me off my feet, ganon.
There are these Bible verses about being submissive, gentle, and meek. That was the kind of environment that I grew up in. So I never really wanted to make the first move in relationships. So until now, I've never really had a relationship.
The whole process of courtship that we know today, yung panliligaw, that came from our Spanish roots. So when a man woos a woman, the male takes the active role. They're the ones who pursue. During the pre-Spanish period, it's actually the woman who has a more active leadership role when it comes to relationships. And then they use the whole concept of religion and how they see religion, Catholicism, which is very patriarchal in nature, to have more virtuous women. Anong ibig sabihin ng virtuous women? Women who are just domestic, chaste, pure, basically someone not like me. That's where the concept of panliligaw came about. The traditional concept of panliligaw is a long process. And it's structured into different stages. So right now, in modern sense of dating, there's still that notion that the male will do the first move. The male will introduce himself. The male will message. It's usually that. Now, women can also introduce themselves and consider that as first move. Or kaya women can ask, hey, are we going to meet up or not? And consider that as a first move.
I don't think I've ever asked someone out, but I do things to make the other person ask me out.
Some of the things that I initiated in the past were mostly dates. I only asked someone out when I really, really liked it. It wasn't a lot of times, but I wanted to make sure that I was sure of my feelings before I asked him out.
My boyfriend and I, when we started dating, after a couple of months, I think, that's when I asked him, do we call each other boyfriend and girlfriend? I'm a very anxious person, and knowing where I stand makes it easier for me to navigate through the relationship.
Yeah, so I did try asking someone out. It was just a group hangout. Turned out well. We were set to go on a date. We escaped from the group. It was really going well, but I felt at the end of the evening, it wasn't really giving as much as I wanted to. So it fizzles out. That happens.
He made the literal first move, but then I was kind of planting the seeds.
For the first two relationships I was in, I typically made the first move for practically everything. In my previous relationship and now, somehow, nauunahan nila ako. they've made the first move for the major things.
When you make the first move, you should have the confidence to be rejected, and you should have the endurance, the grit to be rejected. What happens is when someone gets rejected, they usually make it about them, a measure of their worth. It's difficult to initiate. It's difficult to make the first move. If you're going to go against that, there's also a layer of judgment. From the stories that I gathered, and again, it depends. Men usually ask, men usually introduce, but it's the women who puts out the question of defining the relationship. Sa kanila manggagaling, ano ba talaga tayo? I'm not going to waste my time, right? The asking for someone to go out, it's the men. The kissing is still the men, but the making it more serious or putting it to the next level, it's the women. Even when proposing, actually, di ba pag hindi nagpo-propose ng matagal yung lalaki, nagtatanong yung babae, kailan ka ba magpo-propose? Or ano ba to?
Honestly, I realized if I was just passive with my dating life, then nothing would happen.
I just base it on like my gut feel. Whenever I feel it na, during that moment, I just go for it. No overthinking, na just go.
Only recently with my current relationship that was I actually like upfront asked out on a date. Parang kinilig ako. Hindi ko alam bakit. It felt like for once I can be the passenger princess. And I like that.
Earlier studies state that when women make the first move, it lessens their level of attractiveness for men. There are men who say that they don't like women doing the first move. We don't know why. Maybe they're intimidated, maybe they feel that it's their role. However, there are recent studies who were able to demonstrate that men now take a more neutral stance when it comes on who should make the first move. And then an explanation to it could be doing the first move. It's anxiety-provoking. Aside from men giving equal rights to women explanation, it can also be explained through their desire to share this anxiety-filled role with others. Okay sa kanila for women to make the first move because it eases the stress for them.
Girls should be more confident to make the first move and not wait for the guys, because at the end of the day, it's all about consent, right? So if you're gonna wait for the guy to ask you for consent, why not give it first?
Are you more scared to ask out, or are you more scared to lose that opportunity to be with that person? Because what if they also like you? It's just that both of you are scared to ask each other.
Making the first move for anything in a relationship doesn't necessarily establish confidence, but more so it shows your partner just how much you want to be with that person.
As a couples therapist, as a sex therapist, as a woman, it really shouldn't matter. It really shouldn't matter. It's all about learning how to share responsibilities and roles. That's what relationships are for sharing. When you talk about things like this, it depends on the person's values, the person's beliefs, the person's intentions, and also how secure they are of themselves. It's up to you and how you want to see yourself and other people.